Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, Star Wars Rebels, Moonbeam City, Ruby, and Adventure Time. I am Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Sam Quattro.
Hey!
Today, Sam and I will be discussing the third and fourth parts of the Stakes miniseries of Adventure Time, Vamps About, and the Empress Eyes. Sam and I are going through this Stakes miniseries as Cartoon Network airs them every night this week at 8 o'clock. And we are going to be regularly covering Adventure Time, in the future as well. You can find out everything about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. And yeah, let's get into Vamps About and the Empress Eyes. Spoilers for everything up to parts 3 and 4 of this miniseries, although you're safe from spoilers for the rest of the miniseries. Sam, what did you think of these two episodes?
I feel like Vamps About was kind of boring. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did like that we had more flashbacks. But it was just, I feel like that was just setting up what we're doing for the rest of the series, I guess. Or the rest of the miniseries, not the actual series. Empress Eyes I liked a little bit more. Because it was like a sole focus on one of the vampires and not everybody else. I don't know, there's more questions than there were answers, I guess. Like, what did the Empress and Simon have to do with each other back in the day?
That is true.
What's that about? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure that's a question that's supposed to have an answer.
Well, it should have an answer.
Because I kind of just infer that, Marceline was hunting. Although, no, it doesn't really make sense with the timeline. That's right. Because Marceline she says she hunts the vampires after Simon leaves.
Yeah.
And also the Empress says that Simon, references Simon already starting to have lost it when she last saw him, right?
Yeah.
So it seems like they encountered each other after Marceline left. Okay. So maybe that will have an answer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the Empress Eyes is the better of the two episodes. I think it's a pretty impressive episode. Although it's, not as good as episode 2 of the miniseries. Yeah. Vamps About was fine. It was a little boring at times, but it was okay. I think it was maybe better than episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little underwhelming, but this is what you expect from a miniseries in the middle. I'm hoping that parts 7 and 8 are very good. That being said, Empress Eyes has a lot of good things going for it, and Vamps About has its moments too. So let's get into all of that. So basically, last podcast we talked about how now it looked like the plot was going that Marceline, now that she's turned back into human, she releases all of her past vampires, which she'd inhaled after staking. Yeah,
she inhaled them.
Yeah. So I was like, I basically got everything right last episode, except that she had also inhaled the Vampire King.
Yeah.
Which became became apparent once he appeared at the beginning of the episode, and they're like, "Oh, we're back now." That what actually happened was the only thing that made sense is he had to have turned her at the same time as she staked him. Like, that's the only thing that logically made sense, and that was what happened.
You're so smart.
Well, I got that wrong though at the end of last time. I didn't think that
you're so not smart.
I didn't think she staked the Vampire King, but I guess then I don't know. It's kind of unpredictable it happening at the same time. What do you think of this? I don't know. Do you think that makes sense that all of these vampires come back to life now suddenly? I mean, we don't really have an explanation for it. Other than that the gooey goop or whatever is gone.
I guess so. I don't know. It could be seen as maybe the soul sucking thing has something to do with it. Because she staked them, right? And she says in this episode her dad never gave her squat except for soul sucking skills, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just their souls being re-released back into the ether instead of Marceline's throat. I don't know.
Interesting. That's a good point. That her soul sucking ability is probably what lets her gain the powers through being a demon.
But then I wonder, are these just how many are there? 5?
Yeah, there's 5 of them.
5 special vampires who have special abilities, and she just sucked their souls as opposed to the other ones who were just bleh, who didn't have any special powers or anything.
Yeah, that's true. Is it just 5? Because last first episode, I think, in the miniseries, they implied that there were a lot more vampires that Marceline had staked.
Yeah,
And in fact,
she
we see
called,
one of them
yeah.
on camera in the next episode, in episode 4.
So I don't know. Maybe they're just like this. Maybe it's like Twilight or whatever. Where
Yeah, so it's either that
this
they're...
is a lot like Twilight
No, it's
vampire
not a lot
rules.
like... No Twilight discussion. It's either a
No, like
lot...
in terms of vampire rules, it is.
I don't even remember. It's either that these 5 are special, you're right, because they're the only 5 that come back, or this is just like a television thing that it's like, okay, we have 5 to focus on now.
They
But
just
yeah,
special
it's a
abilities.
good point that there are other ones who we're not seeing as part of this this 5 through this miniseries. Um, so focusing on this, I think the biggest question through First Stakes is like, is focusing on restaking all 5 vampires which Marceline had staked in the past oh, I just made the connection between this being called Stakes and Marceline staking the vampires.
Oh my
Literally
god!
just now, yeah.
Oh my god, Dylan!
Is that a good choice? Like, because isn't this kind of boring? What does this have to do with Marceline's past? I mean, we're revisiting her past, but isn't this a little too gimmicky for what's supposed to be kind of a character focused miniseries?
So do you think it's more like Marceline the Vampire Slayer, and that's not a good thing?
I mean, that is kind of... We still don't know why she's the vampire queen, right? But I
Well,
guess because she was the final vampire. Is that why?
yeah, I
Because we
thought
learned that this episode. Did we know that before, that she was the last vampire?
I think it could be in. Like, I don't think we actually knew, but I definitely inferred it because she's the only vampire we've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. But they definitely explicitly stated here. It's like she's because I mean, there's only because the vampire queen in the flashback in this episode is like, I'm no last of my kind, and then she's becomes a vampire as he dies, right? So
Yeah. So she is the supreme vampire and the only one.
that's I guess this episode is our explanation to why she's the vampire queen, because she
Why
killed the
wasn't this one
vampire
called
king.
Marceline the Vampire Queen?
Yeah, what is Vamps About? It's I mean,
There is vamps about. They're
there's
afoot.
Vamps About. Yeah, I don't think they said that in the episode, but yeah. What else we got going on here? I liked that flashback. Yeah, I'm glad we went back to that.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a question about that.
sure.
I'm not sure if I could say it on this podcast, but do you think there are any sort of things that scene reminded you of?
I think I understand what you're saying. No, I did not think of that as I was watching.
Okay, whatever
Uh,
that is.
so in Oliver Savaz's AV Club like review of the entire miniseries, he says that at times in Stakes, it is obvious that Marceline's vampiricism is a metaphor for depression. Have you gotten that from these first 4 episodes?
I haven't gotten that personally, but I can definitely see it.
Yeah, I think episode 4 is more about that than anything else. Because okay, so you're talking about trigger warnings for rape and sexual abuse. You're talking about this being an analogy for rape, right?
Yeah, I'm talking
Yeah.
about that specific scene where
The
Vampire
King
King's
flashback, yeah.
like pinning her down and biting her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that could go with Oliver Savaz's depression metaphor.
Yeah, they could be coexistent.
They could coexist. Okay, I can see. Yeah, I don't know if that's what it's. I don't think it's what it's intending. But at the same time, now that you mention it, there's a lot there. I think.
Yeah.
I see the depression thing a little bit as being as more concrete from episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Because I mean, she basically says in the flashback in episode 4 that she says, staking vampires, protecting the last remaining humans. It felt like I was protecting you. It was the only thing that brought me happiness during those years. That's kind of blatant.
Yeah.
The only thing that brought me happiness.
But no, that was before she became a vampire, though.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You're right. Dang, we're wrong. Okay, so yeah, but then so where's the depression analogy for being a vampire? Okay, isn't it? Now I'm feeling like, okay, then let's throw this out the window as an analogy. Let's just say that this is about Marceline's. Yeah, So where's what's the cause of the? I feel like we can't pinpoint a direct one-to-one for depression and any single thing in Marceline's past, then, other than being abandoned and lonely.
Yeah.
So okay, I don't know what to make of this. We'll explore. Let's talk about this more in episode 4. But in terms of this specific scene, I probably not what they're intending, but I don't. I still I think it's
Yeah.
reasonable. Yeah,
And yeah.
it's a reasonable takeaway. Did you think that as you were watching it, or did you just think of it like on second watch, or
I thought of it in retrospect,
in
yeah. And then I
retrospect? Yeah.
rewatched and I was like, oh,
Okay, interesting.
okay.
If that is what they were intending? Do you think that it's like an interesting thing to bring into the episode?
I guess so. I don't know. It's sort of
You'd hope they deal with these things with more depth than one scene.
yeah.
That's kind of what I mean.
I don't know. It's sort of harkens to like Marceline didn't ask for any of this vampirism.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely an element of consent here that connects the two.
Yeah, she didn't ask. Like no, that's a terrible way to phrase that. But she didn't want it.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be a vampire,
Hmm.
and she was turned into one against her will.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Can definitely see it. What else? What other highlights of Vamps About? We have a lot of Peppermint Butler in this episode.
he's so like this episode made like he's so cute.
What do you
Except
think of Pat Butt?
Pep Butt. Well, he's like sort of like PB's protective dad almost when he's like pulling out all that steaks and garlic stuff.
You know what's weird is that he's like this master of the dark arts,
Yeah.
but yet he's still it's throughout the entire series he's been very loyal to PB. So I don't know. I've always kind of doubted that whether like he was actually like cared about PB, but this episode did more of convincing me that than kind of
Yeah.
any in the past of the show.
But I was just like something about his voice was just so cute. I love.
He says he painstakingly stockpiled these weapons in case a certain frenemy decided to turn on you someday.
And Marceline's like, yeah, I could have taken you guys out at any time. And Jake's like, yeah.
Yes, we had the vampires coming back. We'll talk
Oh,
about.
the drawing part where Jake is like
Oh
the
yeah,
sketch that was kind of dumb.
I actually thought that was funny.
I kind of like it would have been funny like maybe like if they did it 3 times, but they did like 5 times.
They did it like oh yeah, they overdid it. Whereas
Yeah, it was kind of dumb.
nah, that's not right. Yeah,
They literally used the same voice clip of no, that's not right.
You sure? Was it John DiMaggio? Are you sure he didn't just do it
I don't know.
a bunch of times? I bet that would have been funnier if he did. Yeah,
It felt like
I liked this gag. I think this was clever. And then he's like, actually, that one's pretty close. Yeah. And then that's how Marceline recognized him. I also thought it just made sense in advancing the plot too.
a stop sign and a loaf of bread.
Yeah. Which one was that?
That was a Vampire King.
Oh, okay. What do we think of Vampire King?
He looks like a feline.
Okay. Anything other than that?
Like, what is he? He has like griffin feet and like
I don't know.
lizard arms.
Lizard arms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. He's a guy. He's voiced by Lion Turtle, isn't he? What's his face?
Kevin Michael Richardson, is he?
It sounds like he is.
Okay, I'll look this up as we go. Yeah, I assume he'll be play a role in the last few
Yeah,
episodes of this.
probably.
Let's talk. What else? Last things for this episode. Vampire King, the Fool. She usually gets rid of the Fool.
It's annoying.
You're smelling human yourself. I only eat animals now, says the Vampire King, like the rest of you. Which I thought that was kind of a very quick critique of meat eating culture when he was like, I only eat humans now, like the rest of you. Yeah, kind of thrown in there pretty quickly, which of course I appreciate. And Marceline says it doesn't matter how you pretend to change, monsters will always be monsters. Do we think that this miniseries is going to be about Marceline learning tolerance and like kindness? I don't know. She doesn't come across as super sympathetic in the scene with the Vampire King at the end of the episode.
I feel very weird about the cows. They're just kind of off-putting. Maybe because they're voiced by humans.
You like the cat dancing with the cow?
No, it makes me like I don't know, like there's like a cow motif happening, just bothering me, and I
Because
don't
it's like
like
a
it.
vampire motif. It goes along with that.
Okay.
Kind of at the end, but and she's about to, yeah, stake the Vampire King, but then he points out the Empress and Simon, and then she leaves. So that seems like smart strategy from him because he'll be stronger next time. And she has distracted him for a while. And then we have this graphic at the end, which we'll presumably will be seeing. Okay, episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, episode 7. So if we go one by one, then we'll have one part left if we deal with all 5 of them.
Hmm.
So there you go. Okay. So yeah, Vamps About was all right.
It was an episode.
Empress Eyes. What do you think of the Empress?
Who is she voiced by? She sounds really familiar.
I'll look this up as well.
Look everything up.
Yeah.
But Empress Eyes, Empress. Well, I think she's interesting. I'm like really interested in like her backstory with Simon. Like, what's going on?
That's your big takeaway? Yeah, I didn't even think
Yeah,
of that, though.
like I don't like she's interesting and stuff, but I don't know her enough.
We have Rebecca Ramajan as the Empress. I don't know who she is.
I'm gonna look her up.
And as the Vampire King, we have Billy Brown. Interesting.
Gotta look up these people.
Yeah. I liked this episode. I like that we're bringing in Simon. It's always a good idea / the Ice King. It's always a very good idea to bring in the Ice King when we have Marceline around because that combination.
Oh, Rebecca Romaine.
Oh, that's how you pronounce it?
Yeah, she was Mystique in the original X-Men movie. She was married to John Stamos.
Oh, okay. Apparently this is a big actress who I don't know about. I think it's always a good idea to bring in the Ice King because Ice King Marcy has been like one of the big emotional combinations of the show. Of course, the Ice King was not actually hypnotized. I think that was
He has stanky old wizard eyes. Remember?
we saw that we saw this coming, but I still thought it was really funny when they revealed that.
Oh, Ice King.
He would definitely be into that. He says, the Emperor says, all the better for you to submit. And Ice King says, I like where this is going, which is interesting that they have jokes about that in the show, but I like that. Okay. And I like that we have stuff with the penguins. But if he's not hypnotized, why is he so willingly bringing her the penguins and Finn?
Because she is a woman and he
Yeah.
wants to get some.
Yeah, that's how it works. We have has Marceline used the hypnotism ability in the Sirs?
No, I don't. I feel like she only like takes away certain things from these guys. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's never used hypnotism.
I guess, yeah. Simon, what has she done to you? And then she's okay. So Marceline's kind of like blushing when she's.
Yeah, I was kind of like, why are you blushing?
Do you think? Okay, general question. Do you think there's any sort of romantic or sexual element to
No,
Marcy and Simon's stuff?
I literally hope not.
Not in terms of actual manifestation of the relationship, but maybe latent feelings from Marceline.
I don't know.
You know,
Don't ask me that question.
I mean, it might make sense because she's younger, but like, I don't know. But yeah, this show uses blushing in weird ways, and it makes you question things sometimes. I feel like this has been a thing before that we've questioned blushing. Marceline says, I hunted the vampires because of you, and then we have her little flashback in this episode, which takes the form of a poem. Do you agree with that?
Like a slam poetry.
Like a slam poetry thing. Do you think that was I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
it's more of a poem than a song.
More of a poem than a song.
Memories, yeah. What do you think of this segment?
It's interesting. It's like
I kind of liked the weird aesthetic of this.
memories. I like how she only has liver and spinach to eat. That's what her food was.
Aww.
Anyway, I don't know. It just sort of builds the timeline again of like when Marceline's doing stuff. Also, these people do not have animal hats.
Interesting. So this was before I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
This was before she Because the last time we saw humans in animal hats was after she had already been hunting vampires, right?
Yeah.
I think in episode 2. Simon, remember our history. I mean, this. Do you think it's overkill to have this element of the story again when we had an entire episode about it, and with like Marceline wanting Simon to remember things and him not being able to?
No, I think it's still something she can be like unhappy about.
Do you
Like,
still think it's understandable that she might like try for this, even though she knows
yeah,
that? Yeah, just because the emotional connection.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh, it's. I mean, it's just really depressing. That's the main thing about it. It's. I do like the show's commitment though to Ice King being the Ice King and him not being able to go back to that.
Oh, I like unless Betty is like having
We'll see what
fun
happens with Betty. Yeah,
over in Magic Madness land.
that episode was very odd.
Don't forget your floaties.
Yeah. If you really, I don't know what this was. March, open those peepers. Apparently, that's a thing.
Open those peepers.
Yeah, and then we get to stake the Empress.
Bubblegum comes in.
Bubblegum comes in and holds him up. Yeah, I like PB coming back in there because I was questioning that. It's like why is Marceline going on her own here? Because I thought we were gonna get the bub line going on. I thought that was the thing.
Bubbling.
The bub line. Yeah.
Oh my god. Start saying names wrong again.
Shouldn't have tried to go at it alone with the Vamps team up style now. And then we have the 2/5 graphic. So what do you think of this ending with PB coming in?
Well, I don't know. They're a team. They're gonna kill some vamps.
Yep.
I feel like Finn was kind of annoying this episode.
What did Finn do?
I don't know. He just like stole Marceline's steak and like was all like gung ho about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Finn's fine. He was fine.
You're fine.
Thank you. So I
Not
liked
really. Psych.
I liked Empress Eyes a lot, and I thought that was so. I guess the rankings right now are 2, 4, 3, 1.
2, 4, 3, 1.
Agreed.
Bubblegum has a gun.
Any other comments on specifics on either of the episodes? I like the animation with her hypnotism and stuff like that.
Her eyes look like CDs.
I think I made that the image for this, like CDs.
Yeah, like the bottom. Like, have you ever seen a CD?
I mean,
We're not that far into the future.
Yeah, we are. Those aren't things anymore.
No, the bottoms of CDs. That's what her eyes look like.
Oh, the bottoms of CDs. Okay, that's interesting.
Duh.
Tomorrow we have May I Come In and Take Her Back. Which vampires do we have remaining? We have the Shapeshifter, the Vampire King, and who's the third one? The weird guy who we don't really know much about, right?
The A head.
The A head?
Yeah. Fool says, like, good old something A. I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
The one that looks like a anthill, but a girl.
Predictions for these? Have you... I have no predictions. So I mean, there's nothing really hanging in the air right now. It's like, okay, we're moving on to the next two vampires.
We have a goal. We're gonna kill Bill these vampires.
And what's gonna happen with Marceline at the end of the series? What's gonna happen with PB and Marceline?
Also, like, Finn didn't find it weird that she had her like flying powers back. That kind of bothered me.
Yeah, she did get her flying powers after.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about it.
So it looks like she's gonna have the powers back, even though she's not a vampire at the end of the series.
Yeah, that's how it was before she was a vampire.
Yes. Which is when she was at her happiest, I guess, with the other humans.
Yeah, well, the humans are all dead.
Or on another continent, as we theorized.
Like our friend KK Glinka on
Archer
of Our Own.
Yeah, there you go.
Has predicted in the past.
We'll see if that pays off ever in this series. Okay. I'm Dylan Hysen. That's Sam Quattro. You can find out more about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. You can support us on Patreon, Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, Shayna, Mitch Cordell, Beatrice, Nada, and Dean Jamie, aka Hannah, if you're Mitch Cordell University, Beatrix Strange, Buzz Lightyear, and Mailman. We'll be back tomorrow talking about parts 5 and 6 of the miniseries, and then on Thursday with the final 2 parts. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up or subscribe or comment, and I will reply to you. Thanks for commenting to the last one, guys. And
People commented on the last
yeah, people are commenting on the YouTube video. It's pretty cool. And if you are watching on Tumblr, give us a heart or potentially a reblog. I don't know what that.
But does that mean I should reblog our podcast?
Yes.
Should I be like a shameless person and reblog the things that I am on?
It's not shameless to reblog the things you are a part of.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. So we would really appreciate the support on Tumblr, and you can subscribe on YouTube or follow on Tumblr, getting my terminology confused, to receive
subscribe on Tumblr,
updates.
Follow on YouTube.
There you go. So thanks for listening, guys. Last thoughts?
Nope.
Okay. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.